Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at the back deck roll.
The back deck roll is one of those skills that has proved controversial in the past. I think, hopefully, the majority of people in kayaking nowadays understand that a back deck roll is not inherently less safe than any other normal kind of combat roll. However, just for the sake of clarity, let's go over why that is. During a back deck roll, your head is far more shallow in the water than it would be if you were tucked all the way forwards ready for a combat roll. So the likelihood of you encountering rocks, etc. on the bed of the river is much, much lower than if you were tucked forwards. Granted, your face is exposed, so if you were to find a rock, it would find the front of your face, arguably. However, again, there is a barrier in place. Your paddle, if you're doing a back deck roll correctly, should be held in the paddler's box, more or less, in front of your face. So at worst, you're going to bang your knuckles and the blades of the paddle on the bottom of the water. And to be honest, if you're doing that, then you should be able to roll just by pushing off the bottom. So to me, that notion that it's inherently less safe because you're exposing your face is a little bit of a non-argument, to be honest. Yes, you might end up banging your knuckles or slightly scraping yourself, but you could do that just as much in a sticky situation tucked up on the front deck. And certainly if you went over on the back deck, then tucking all the way forwards to prepare for an ordinary combat roll, I would argue, is far, far riskier and more likely to expose you to danger than whipping a quick back deck roll from that position. And that leads us on to the second point, which is speed. A back deck roll is so much faster than tucking forwards and doing a combat roll, especially if you've gone over on the back deck, which 8 times out of 10 I would say probably is the case for kayakers in white water. We go over on the back deck because that is where we are not stable. We get caught out on the tail of our boat perhaps, and then catch an edge and flip, and inevitably you flip backwards, lying back. And so actually having a roll that responds from that position is really advantageous, especially one that can be done very snappily, and if you do it right, can be done with your head not even going fully under the water. With that said, let's talk about this particular kind of back deck roll that I have demonstrated in a video previously and that people have asked for, which is a back deck roll where you very consciously work from the back deck all the way up to a neutral or even forward sitting position. In essence, it doesn't vary greatly from other back deck roll tutorials that you might have seen. There are some very good ones out there, notably Stephen Wright's back deck tutorial, which is very comprehensive. However, a few key pointers on the main portion of the back deck roll itself, because people often find this tricky, at least to start with. My suggestion would be, if you want to learn to back deck roll, then 2 good drills that you can use as prerequisite rolls to the back deck roll are the reverse screw roll, which often for people unlocks that idea of being laying back on the back deck and unwinding, or sitting upright I suppose, whilst unwinding the torso and unwinding the arms to bring the boat upright. And the other variant I would call a reverse sweep, where you just go over 180 degrees rather than 360. Lie back onto the blades on your on side, probably to start with, and then work the blade back up to the front whilst doing your hip snap to get used to that idea of moving from the back to the front. Once you've got the hang of that motion of moving from the back of the boat to the front when rolling instead of moving from the front to the back with the blade, then you can start thinking about refining it. The crucial thing with a back deck roll is that you are not reaching out overhead when you do it. It's very contained and very controlled. You want to try to keep that paddler's box formed between your hands so that when you flip over you still have your elbows crooked, not fully extended, and you are to some degree protecting your face using the paddle shaft and your arms, whilst at the same time avoiding any hyperextension in your shoulders or elbows. That's really, really important. And in fact, while I'm there, really make sure to warm up properly. If the back deck is not something that you have done a lot of before, then make sure to warm up properly before doing it. And to pay really close attention to how far you are reaching out so that you are not putting your shoulders under unnecessary stress.
I briefly interrupt this tutorial to thank you so much for tuning in. If you're here for the first time and you're enjoying it, then please do consider subscribing. It makes a big difference to me, and it means that more people get to see and benefit from this content. Likewise, if you are enjoying it, then please do leave a like down below and share this wherever you feel comfortable. If you've got a suggestion of a tutorial or other video that you would like to see, then please do put that in the comments down below, and I'll look forward to reading some of those and hopefully taking action on them. Thank you so much to IR and to Radical Rider, two companies that keep me dry and keep me floating out here on the river. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Right, let's get back to the tutorial. Woo!
So let's talk it through. From having flipped over on the back deck, you are lying out flat behind the back of the boat, having fallen over. Your hands are maintaining that box with the paddle. From there, you're going to start rotating from the lower torso to bring your entire body weight out to one side of the kayak. You may start punching out with that trailing blade a little bit more. The trailing blade very rapidly becomes the lead blade, the important blade, which is one of the reasons why the back deck can so easily confuse people, is the fact that as you pass through the back side of the boat and back onto the front again, the lead blade and trailing blade switch, but they do so naturally because it's a circular motion. Your lead blade moves out of the water and becomes less important, and suddenly your trailing blade is the lead blade. Hopefully that makes sense and is helpful to somebody. With that said, as you begin to rotate out to the side, you want to really concentrate on that trailing blade, which will become the lead blade, and ensure that it is climbing. Now you do this by rocking your wrists back so that there is a climbing angle on the blade, so it is moving upwards towards the water's surface and not downwards as much as you possibly can. Because if that blade begins to dive very hard, then quite simply your roll will not work. As you get out to the point of around 90 degrees to the boat, that is when you want to start employing your hip snap, driving your near side knee over and away from you and driving the far side knee towards your body. And yes, this can be done smoothly and fluidly, but it is quite an explosive motion. And from here, you're keeping your forehead tucked down and keeping a low profile as you bring your body back over the top of the boat. Again, this is a continuation of that same rotation that you have done to swing your body out to the side of the boat. It's effectively like drawing one big circle moving towards the front of the boat. But at the same time, you are rolling your hips in that horizontal axis to bring your body upright as well. From here, bringing yourself up into that upright seating position is as simple a matter as keeping that climbing angle on the blade and continuing to sweep it forwards bringing your other hand up in line with your face to open up that paddler's window in front of you and to be able to then begin paddling forwards. It may seem complicated at first, but truly it is as simple as mastering those two prerequisite drills, the reverse screw and the reverse sweep, and then concentrating on maintaining a climbing angle on the blade whilst you're moving from the back deck to the front, and having in your mind the whole time that you are moving from a point of instability to the point where you can start paddling forwards again. I hope this video was helpful, and if you've enjoyed it, then please do let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like in there as well, and share this wherever you feel comfortable. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.